I'm not really sure what happened over the past week, but it just seems like there is such a flow of negative Fallout 76 news that I'm genuinely struggling to keep up with it. Like over the past couple of days, I'll be filming a video, editing it, some more negative press will come out, and then I'll have to edit parts of that video out to actually modify it for the new information. Well, either way, things do continue. If you guys do enjoy the content, whether it be positive or negative around Fallout 76, you can leave a like or subscribe. That does really help the channel. But either way, in this video, we're going to be looking at a couple of stories. Some new banning news. This actually started yesterday, but I simply didn't have enough time to include it in yesterday's video because I have a lot to add to the story that I don't think a lot of people realize. But also, the latest hotfix to Fallout 76 miraculously has added in new bugs. Yeah, that's like a real thing. But with that, let's start off with this new banning story. So I've been talking about Bethesda doing bans for really a little over a month at this point, and all of it ties in together with what we're seeing now. I first started talking about these towards the end of December. This was when people were being banned for apparently modding or using cheats in their game. I posted my video entitled "Some Fallout 76 Players Are Being Banned Wrongly." I was seemingly one of the first people to actually bring significant attention to this because then a bunch of articles came out and they actually cited my video, and then some Reddit posts came out saying that I might have made up stuff for that video or I was fabricating claims. One of the notable parts from that video was Bethesda was asking people to write essays in order to get unbanned. That was one of the big things that got picked up by news outlets. Lo and behold, that was later confirmed by someone at Bethesda. Everything in that video ended up being true, but the real reason I made the video was some people were reporting that they were being banned without ever actually using cheat engine with Fallout 76. They just had it running, and then another person claimed they didn't even have cheat engine and they were only using mods and somehow got a ban also. So that was the first time, and I'm gonna come back to this, so don't forget about it. Moving on, towards the beginning of January, we started seeing a bunch of duper bans. This was largely a good thing. Duping had been a pretty major problem in Fallout 76, and there really were no repercussions to it. Even though it was causing quite significant server instability and crashing, Bethesda hadn't been banning people, at least just yet. Well, in 2019, that all changed, and we saw waves of bans that have continued since the first week of January. There have been several methods of duping in Fallout 76, but after actually talking to people in duping communities and dupers themselves, what I found out from doing some of those videos was that Bethesda was detecting people who were duping through mass crafting. So pretty much everybody that had sent me a report of being banned said they mass crafted items. So they would dupe a bunch of materials like, let's say, wood, then mass craft boards, and then Bethesda would flag that account and subsequently they would get a ban. The reason that's relevant now is because we have several posts popping up of people just mass crafting, not duping, but also getting banned. In the most recent Fallout 76 update, they actually added in a weight limit. So you can only have a certain amount of weight on your character, and if you are over that weight, you won't actually be able to sell things or add any additional items to that character's inventory. Well, the first guy here says that his character was significantly overweight, and rather than just dropping all of his junk, he tried to craft a bunch of things in order to get rid of all the scrap. He mentions how he's been playing since release on several different characters, and that's how he accumulated such a high rate of scrap. And then subsequently, after crafting with a bunch of that stuff, he was banned. But then you also have another post where somebody says they were just crafting 10 to 20 gamma guns. Not something that's super ridiculous. The reason he's doing this is because in Fallout 76, in order to learn weapon mods, you have to scrap those weapons. So he was crafting them in order to scrap them in hopes of learning some cool weapon mods for the gamma gun. This guy was also banned. So of course, as I just explained, the reason these guys are getting flagged is this is the way Bethesda was detecting dupers. The method has at least been somewhat effective. I've got numerous messages from people that did dupe and did end up getting banned as I made some of the videos on that topic. But with any automated system like this, there's going to be false positives. Fortunately, or rather unfortunately, as we'll see, Bethesda actually has a system for addressing this. Technically, these guys aren't banned. What they actually have are indefinite account suspensions. You can find this in every ban email itself, as well as at the bottom. They say, if you believe this account has been flagged in error, please let us know by providing a short description of what you were doing that may have resulted in the excessively high rate of item creation. Upon review, we may consider lifting the suspension. But even further towards the bottom, you do see, we will assume your issue has been resolved if we do not hear from you within 96 hours, 4 days. And in effect, what that means is if they don't hear from you in 4 days, days, your account will just be banned. And we'll get back to that in a second because it's not as it appears. But even further, some other added bonus of getting your Fallout 76 account banned is you actually lose your entire Bethesda.net account. And even though the vast majority of people out there only use Bethesda.net for playing Fallout 76, there are some people that for whatever reason actually bought other games on that account. So think of it more of like a Steam account. So we also saw a post from somebody else who says he was wrongfully banned with the same situation going on, but effectively when you get your Fallout 76 account banned, what you're really doing is getting your Bethesda.net account banned, because that's what you need to play on PC at least. Your Bethesda.net account may have several other games connected to it because it's really a storefront. You can add Doom or Wolfenstein if you buy them through Bethesda. So getting that account banned means you lose not only Fallout 76, but any other game you had on that account. And this is a commonality I've seen with many of the other PMs I've received on Discord of dupers genuinely being banned. They broke the rules of Fallout 76, but they didn't realize they would also lose all of the games they had purchased on that same account. So whether or not you agree with that, that's one thing. But if you're a duper and you break the rules in one game and then you lose all these other games, that's maybe not the most ideal, not the most genuine. People probably don't realize that. But at the same time, I guess you can make the argument, well, these people that are staying banned all broke the rules, right? Anyone who didn't break the rules will just go through the appeal process and be okay. Well, no, actually they won't. And that's why I wanted to make a full or more main video on this story, because this has been a commonality through all of these emails I've been seeing over the past month and a half. It seems like for whatever reason, with Bethesda support, you'll get this ban, you'll get this opportunity to appeal the ban and respond to them, yet in the vast majority of cases I've seen reported to me, people never get a response. So take this one example of the guy saying he lost all of the games on his account. He mentions how he actually responded to the banned email explaining why he actually had all of those items, and he says he didn't dupe, he had legitimate reasons. But then 4 days passed, Bethesda never got back to him, so the suspension was permanent, and that's it. That's kind of the whole story here. Now if it was 1 or 2 cases, that'd be one thing, but no, this has been going on since the end of December. I've talked about it in several videos. Do you guys remember back to my original video on people being wrongly banned in Fallout 76, the one I just talked about? One of the people I showcased in that video that I was talking to tried to communicate with Bethesda, tried to get an answer. He never received a response. He just lost his Bethesda.net account. 4 days had passed, so the ticket got locked. His account was permanently banned. You can't create new tickets further. He tried creating new tickets on other accounts. Those get immediately locked because they say he already created a ticket on the other account for the same issue. He tried escalating that issue with other community managers at Bethesda and apparently got nothing back. And this isn't just like 1 or 2 people. I have numerous reports from my time covering this of people getting banned, trying to appeal the ban and never getting a response, then 4 days pass and their accounts get locked. I'm not entirely sure what's going on the back end here. I think one of the potential issues is maybe Bethesda support prioritizes new tickets. So basically these guys get banned, they get this new ticket created, but then when they respond to the ticket, it's just Bethesda support genuinely doesn't get to it within the 4 days. Maybe they just have way too much going on, but then the system automatically flags it after 4 days as being resolved, and then those people don't see it again. That's pure speculation. I have no idea, but I could show you numerous accounts from my PMs of people that tried to appeal and were unsuccessful. They just literally heard nothing back. Several of these spanning over a month at this point. It definitely is a big issue. I'd actually been wanting to make a video on this in general, but then Reddit picked it up. And just as an aside, seeing how much attention some of these Reddit posts are getting is good. This is a genuine issue, something I've been talking about for almost a month and a half now. But at the same time, many of the people I'm referencing in this video had made Reddit threads back in December. They either got downvoted or people in the comments even laughed at them for getting banned because they just assumed they were breaking the rules. Or as I mentioned earlier, even when I tried to reference this in a video, this same subreddit called me out for saying I was fabricating certain information and that they shouldn't trust what I'm saying. But now all of a sudden, because the subreddit recently dislikes Bethesda following the latest update, these threads are getting hundreds, if not thousands of upvotes and community manager responses. Now obviously I'm not saying it's a bad thing that it's getting attention now, I'm saying it's unfortunate that this couldn't have gotten attention a month ago when it was really just as big of an issue. And I think it really shows how big of a role just how this subreddit feels about the game at a given point determines what kind of posts you're going to see on the front page. And just as one final note on this topic, I think it is important to be skeptical about what you see online. There's been a lot of misinformation around Fallout 76 over the past couple of days, and I think calling that out is important. Although I did provide proof, whether it be ban emails, whether it be videos of people unable to log in. multiple correlating reports of the same exact thing happening to different people. As it stands right now, I know of several people who, according to Bethesda, didn't break any rules, yet still don't have access to their account. And for many of them, it's my understanding they either just abandoned Fallout 76, going on to play many of the other games out there right now, or ended up actually buying it on one of those deep sales on a separate account. Either way, I'll have links to most of these posts I'm talking about down below if you guys want to read them for yourself, including some of the old ones I covered in past videos that didn't get nearly as much attention or support. But with that out of the way, let's actually move on to the next story, and this is not nearly as big of a one, but just kind of like, really, that's a thing? So if you guys aren't familiar with this latest update to Fallout 76, there were several new bugs introduced. People are talking about a complete revert of the game, that it added in a ton of new bugs, and it doesn't seem like that's totally true. There were certainly things reverted, but it's not on the scale that I think a lot of people were kind of making it out to be. But even just in general, that really shouldn't happen. You patch the game and then a couple updates later, you unpatch that same thing. That's kind of a big issue. Well, fortunately, Bethesda was pretty quick about this and getting a hotfix posted, trying to resolve some of the major issues that did pop up as a result of their last patch. Well, it seems like with this hotfix, further things are not working correctly. For example, one of the issues we saw previously was bulk scrap couldn't be used for crafting any longer. So in Fallout 76, you could take all of your individual pieces of wood and for a couple plastic, actually make it into one big pile of wood. It'll make your inventory look a bit cleaner, as well as you could actually sell these versions to traders more effectively. Typically, you could use all of those items still for crafting your wooden house, but following the update, it seemed like a bug was introduced and you could no longer use those items for crafting. Well, with this latest hotfix, it allows them to be used for crafting now, but it also makes it so when you go to one of the crafting tables and you click scrap all to all of the junk you do have, it'll actually break down these bulked versions into their individual pieces. This is something that is not intentional. It shouldn't be happening. One of the major reasons being it actually costs resources to bulk items. It costs plastic. So in effect, if people, let's say, just did this and had a ton of bulk items, they instantly deleted a ton of plastic without actually realizing it. But even further, another one that has seemingly popped up is something with stealth. It's not really clear if this was after the original patch or the hotfix, but either way, I've noticed this also where stealth is just weird. Sneaking around in this game has definitely gotten buggy, whether it's how often you get detected by enemies or how far they have to be away, or even just when it kicks on. Like sometimes while crouching or trying to sneak around, the stealth bar just won't be there for me. Either way, this hotfix blunder, as I'll call it, has definitely added quite a bit of fuel to the flames of the Fallout 76 backlash. And even further, now there's a lot of people saying that if you're pissed about Bethesda or you're pissed about Fallout 76, what you should do is uninstall the game. Many assuming that Bethesda actually tracks these figures and it's a real way to show that people are unhappy. And for context, this is being upvoted and supported by many of the diehards that have been supporting Fallout 76 even since its release through many of the other controversies we have seen. So I really question what's going to go on with the future of Fallout 76. Some DLC is apparently just a couple of months away. Could that kind of revert this? Could it make the community get back on Bethesda's side, or at least some of the community? Time will tell. Either way, let me know in the comments down below what you think about all of this. It certainly is interesting to watch from an outsider's perspective. Unfortunately, I'm not an outsider, but I could recognize how it's probably fun and entertaining for all of you out there. As always, again, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.